edition of This Day in Black Baseball History. And today is October 24th. And I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight who can get there to the live broadcast. I know a lot of you have to listen in the repeat broadcast because I never know exactly what time I'm going to come on. So sometimes it can be difficult to catch me live. However, we're going to jump right back in there and do a little history for you tonight. Now, I will also say this. I'm trying to go for 300 subscribers by the 31st. And so today is the 24th. So I got about 7-8 days to go. And so we're going to try to get there. So if you like what I'm doing, be sure to hit that bell and subscribe. And we'll go from there. And we'll see if we can get to that 300. We're going to keep pushing. We're about 50 away. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining. Now, if this is your first time joining me, just know that with this broadcast, what I do is I give you a historic fact that happened, something today related to an African-American baseball player. Then I'll give you commentary that comes from my 45 plus years as being a baseball historian. So let's jump right into it and let's talk a little baseball tonight on a Friday night. The first game of the World Series is starting tonight, so let's get it going. All right, so we're going to start with let's see. How about 1915? Okay, October 24th, 1915. Smokey Joe Williams whiffed 9 All-Stars in a 4-2 loss at New York's Olympic Field. The All-Stars had 6 Philadelphia Phillies in their lineup, along with Judge of the Senators, Jaston of the Southern League, Bush of the Athletics, and Bush did the pitching that day, and Bush struck out 14 batters to capture the victory. So here you go. I always like to talk about all these exhibition games, and Smokey Joe Williams comes up often. He was a guy that they would bring in as a ringer, excuse me, all the time to pitch a lot of these games against these guys from the American and National League. And he usually won. On this particular day, he did not win. However, it was a very good game that we're watching here. And so this is your baseball history. And and I think I've shared this before if you've been watching, listening to my broadcast. Years ago, I had a Macmillan encyclopedia, baseball encyclopedia, and I still have it. Maybe one of these days I'll bring it. But what I started doing in the border was I would start writing all of these American National League players when they played against African American players. And you would be surprised, there's probably not one guy who played in the major leagues, unless he came from the deep South, that would be playing American and National League, who did not play against black players coming up. So they knew these guys. They played against them often. They knew they were good ball players. That's why they were playing against them. And so I always tried to keep a record of that. I don't know if anybody's ever done that before, but I have my own personal record that I use. And when I'm doing these broadcasts, I go back and refer to that record. So today you got a number of Phillies and Joe Judge, I think that was his name, and then also Bush, the Philadelphia Athletics. Struck out 14. Pretty good game. All right, then let's go to October 24th, 1915. We're in the same year. And on this day, Heine Zimmerman's All-Stars are defeated by Richard Lefty Harvey of the Lincoln Stars in a 6-2 victory at New York's Lenox Oval. And Zimmerman hit safely 3 times, with one of those hits being a double in the losing effort. So here's a game that takes place the same day, but in this case, the All-Stars lose. And they're loaded up with guys who go on to play in the American National League. Some of them are stars. Now, interesting thing about Zimmer, I don't know how much you know about Zimmerman. Now, he ended his career with a lifetime batting average of .295, which is pretty good average. And that was in 5,304 at-bats. So he was a good ball player. But he was a heavy gambler. And when we talk about the weaknesses of ball players, and it's just so interesting right now, you have a scandal going on in basketball. But gambling and sports and being athletes, gambling in sports is nothing new. So Zimmerman used to try to get his own teammates to throw games, and John McGraw testified to that. And so he was known to be a heavy gambler. So by 1921, he is officially banned from Major League Baseball. And for years, you didn't hear anything about him. With this 295 lifetime batting average, I doubt now that they're forgiving guys who were banned from baseball if he will get into the Hall of Fame. I think he had 58 home runs or something like that. And so anyway, he was a good player in his time, but I don't think he's going to come up again for qualifications with this new rule they made. I'm sure that Pete Rose is going to come up there, and Shoeless Joe Jackson, and I'd love to see Curt Flood on that list as well. And so if they're not talking about Curt Flood, man, I'm telling you, it's still not a good list. Curt Flood influenced every American sport with his ban refusing to be traded, and which eventually led to free agency, and guys in every sport are benefiting from free agency today. Curt Flood. And by taking a stand, he ended up losing his career. But so many other people profited. But they still are not recognizing him for the contribution that he made off the field. Okay, that's Curt Flood. Person I think's name ought to come up again. All right, let's go to another one. We're going to go up to 1920. October 24th, 1920. The Bacharach Giants took 2 games from Wade Hoyt's All-Stars at Brooklyn's Ebbets Field by an 8-0 and 6-2 scores. Redding tossed a 4-hit shutout in Game 1, and Stringbean Williams defeated Hoyt in Game 2 with the help of a Jess Barber home run. Now, okay, there's lots of stuff going there. Jess Barber, I think, just had a birthday. Let's see. I think I had a note from the other day. Yeah, Jess Barber was born October 21st. No, he passed away October 21st, 1959. However, 1920, man, he homered off of Wade Hoyt. Now, Wade Hoyt's another famous guy. You know, these are famous players from the American National League. And of course, they're playing in Ebbets Field. And so there are lots of games that took place in these major ball fields. And there were lots of guys who not only played against American National League players, but they proved that they were just as good, if not superior, to those guys. However, because of segregation, racism, they were not in the record books. And if you ask a baseball player today, if you ask someone seriously, why were these guys not allowed to play? And sometimes people really can't give you a good answer. You know, some people, they just don't want to say it was racism, but they want to say, hey, these guys couldn't play with them. That's the biggest lie ever told. However, these are important games. I like to talk about them. And guys, I want you to know about these games. All right, so let's go. Let's keep it going. Okay, October 24th, 1926. Okay, Wilbur Bullet Rogan. He tossed an eight hitter and then turned around and had 3 hits, not himself, and a 3-hit performance by Raleigh Biz Mackey and Dink Monthel. So you got 2 guys with that's 6 hits that helped Rogan defeat the Major League All-Stars 9-1 in Los Angeles. And Rogan, how about this, also collected 3 hits. That's 9 hits from 3 guys. And they're playing guys from the American and National League, and you got 3 guys with 9 hits. Does that tell you something? Does that tell you something? Do I have to spell it out for you? These guys were good. And Dink Monthel. Dink Monthel is one of the people I met who really got me started doing this history. He lived in Topeka, Kansas at that time. Now, what's interesting is where he lived. The school that was part of the desegregation case, Brown versus Board of Education, Dink Monthel's house there was an alley in the back of the school, and then Dink Monthel's backyard was bumped right up against that. And now I don't know if he lived there in '54, but he was certainly there when I met him in 1980. And that was Carroll Ray Monthel. And he came to the Kansas City Monarchs actually about 1922, but Rube Foster recruited him from Topeka, and he played with the Chicago American Giants. Now, I do have a picture of him in the American Giant uniform, but I've never released it. I've never released it. So hopefully that will come out in some later things that I'm doing. And so anyway, the picture, one of the reasons I didn't release it because it was a little blurred, but now there's technology now that can take a picture that's a little blurred and straighten it out. It's just amazing what I've seen in 45 years. So you will probably be seeing that picture, okay? Of Dink Marple wearing a Chicago American Giants uniform in 1920. It's a great picture too. But anyway, they go out into the coast. Dink Marple went out there a number of years, and Bullet Rogan certainly did, and Biz Mackey did as well. So you got Bullet Rogan, who was enshrined in Cooperstown, and then you got Raleigh Biz Mackey, who's also enshrined in Cooperstown. Interesting thing, you know, as a kid who collected baseball cards and was really interested in baseball history, when Bullet Rogan was placed into the Hall of Fame, I think it was 1998, if I'm correct, his son gave a speech there. And his son, in recognizing the reason why his father was in the Hall of Fame, he mentioned my name and one other person, was Larry Lester's name. And so, you know, here it is, a Hall of Fame induction speech, and my name is in it. Man, that was quite a day for me. I never expected that. But guys, when you start this research and you love baseball as much as I have, I'm just amazed of all the places it's taken me and the places it's taken my name. And there's still so much work to be done. So I'm just enjoying these broadcasts. Okay, let's do one more. Actually, in my broadcast, I usually do a coming or a going. So let's do a going today. October 24th, 1972. Hall of Fame infielder Jackie Robinson died in Stamford, Connecticut. All right, I mentioned something about Jackie yesterday when he signed to play with the Montreal Royals. That was October 23rd, and that was October 23rd, 1945. But October 24th, 1972, he passes away. So most of you know something about Jackie Robinson. I will tell you, I was out in Pasadena speaking a few years ago, and I wanted to go by his boyhood home. And I found out that in the 1970s, they tore his home down, which is kind of amazing because he was already to the world of sports, but they didn't see much value for his home down. So that's out in Pasadena, California, originally, because he was born in Georgia, was raised in UCLA, playing amongst that. So we'll just say that. Number 42, all over the country. And so that is Jackie Robinson. So guys, this is a short broadcast. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and by all means hit that bell and subscribe, and we'll go from there. So I want to thank everybody who's joining me tonight. I'm looking at some of the names. I don't really know if I know any of you guys, but somebody said, is it time for me to go sleeping? Probably is, if you got to ask that question. And then somebody says, that's true. I don't know what I said, but yeah, I try to make everything truthful. And somebody says, hello, I appreciate that. So anyway, guys, thank you for joining. We'll be back tomorrow and talking a little bit more about baseball, okay? So, and this day in African American baseball history with commentary by Phil Dixon. And guys, if you want to learn more of what I do, feel free to go to my website, nlbalive.com, and purchase a book. I'll be happy to sign it, all right, and ship it right to you. Okay, thank you guys, and have a nice day, and I'm signing out for now. This is Phil S. Dixon, and this day in African American baseball history.